was an experience. This meeting of the M9 to Thnks is in order. 2.5 years ago. Before that, I formed the Knox Anderson Merchants Association. I gathered the whole area together, and they elected me president. I was not running for president at all. And then when that finished, I had the idea of starting the Katy Trail. I did. A friend of mine bought the rails, the wooden things, and what's our friend? Bud Melton was at the other end. We came together and I brought the clout of the neighborhood and the people together. Then I decided to do the trolley. I spoke in front of City Hall. I told them what I wanted to do. And then there was a meeting in our neighborhood, and what's his name again? Dave. Kevin Hickman with your corporation said they're doing the trolley.
Not my corporation. For your corporation. Sir.
Yeah. So I went, I'm done. I don't have to do it. They're going to do it, but they didn't do it. They did a couple steps. So when they were going to tear down the whole 100-year-old church on Colbert, I saw what's coming. Gridlock. Bad for the neighborhood. All the construction, and they waived the parking requirements. I've been in that neighborhood for 35, going on 36 years. There wasn't anything there when I came in. I put crosswalks in, stop signs, all kinds of things. Someone has to do it, so it's me. So I decided I'm doing the trolley since no one else is. And a friend of mine died.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, y'all.
So, like I was saying, a friend of mine died, and the day after his memorial, I did a drive-by. They're on the porch. I go up on the porch. I tell Christine, his wife, I'm doing the trolley, and she says, Michael, be careful with these. The man who started the trolley in 1911 built this house. He died, that man. He's dead. And then my friend's dead, and she brings me 2 stacks of brand new 1911 trolley tickets. Okay? The odds of this is phenomenal. Then a day or so after that, my back parking lot, here's Stefan walking from CrossFit. I says, I'm doing the trolley, and she says, you need help? I says, yes. She became the vice president right then. Then next person we run into is Austin. I already knew him. I already knew him from Harry, Wild About Harry's. He says, I'm on board. He didn't know what label to give him, so I gave him the conductor. He's quite something. She's the pivot. She's the balance. She's the architect. So we didn't know how to do this. No one's done this before. We didn't know where to go. So I decided we're going to go right to TechStop in person. And I got that person's phone number. And when I got to talk to this lady, she says, I don't talk to people. Well, the Katy Trail money came from TechStop. I thought that's the way to go. So what we've been doing is flowing like water. We see no obstacles. And it is working. We are doing this. It's the attitude, your perception. This is happening, and it's time for this to happen. I got the tickets. It is working. Here we are, the next meeting at City Hall. A wheel has several spokes. Each person here is a spoke on this wheel. We are the hub here. All information goes here and comes from here. Any spokes that aren't right have to be replaced. or it will take the whole thing down. We have to work together and get our egos out of the way here for this to happen. We're not one-pointed. We will flow, we will adapt to traffic, to plumbing and everything, but it's going to happen. And my perception is we're going to do it now. This is the new Dallas, they're saying. This ain't old Dallas at all. On the world map, this is right up there. So, where H2O equals water, it's elements. Each person in here is an element. It will make this better or not. So right now we have all choice pick people here. This is working, but we have to work together. My vision is to do it now. Don't put it off a day, an hour even. Make your phone calls, do everything in the now. Live in this now. The breath is in your nose, okay? Because your ideas that come to you right then, act on in that moment if you can. So,
Hey Gary, thanks for showing up. You brought your whole brain trust with you.
Sure.
It's nice, I mean, you guys have been really great about being accessible, and it's nice to see you taking this seriously. From your perspective, what would be helpful? What are the next steps?
Well, it depends on how we want to approach it. So if we're going to do a modern streetcar, not Henderson, and preserve the historic streetcars, Phil, as you and I have talked, and Phil and I might not agree, although we've had conversations about preserving the historic for evenings, weekends, and special events, then what we would then do is look at submitting a grant application for a small starts project that basically came, let me back up. What our base proposal is to go from Union Station, where the modern streetcar ends, to McKinney Avenue Trolley, where it terminates on the southern end. That would be the base. So, and then wherever the city wants us, Elm, Main, Commerce, whatever the east-west route would be.
I think it's going to be Maine, but we can talk about it.
And then, if we were to go, if we were to basically replace the historic streetcars, use them on a more limited basis as we go north, then my sense is you don't stop at the current northern terminus, you go all the way to Knox Henderson. And you develop a program and a project that the grant application would reflect that.
Let's, for a moment, there are McKinney Avenue Trolley Association questions to get answered in that. There's some street stuff that has to get answered in that. But let's assume just for the moment that there is sufficient political will from the city, from the residents, from MATA to do modern streetcar all the way up to Knox Henderson. You're saying that that is part of the same small starts grant application, it's added on to the base application, which is the union to the southern, the current downtown loop?
And we haven't submitted anything yet, so we would just submit the longer project.
And so what kind of time frame do you expect if we were to submit something this year?
So the FTA deadline for getting a grant submitted is end of September. So anytime between now and the end of September, and to submit, we'd have to have enough, and Steve can certainly speak to this better than I can, but we'd have to have enough information. You'd have to have preliminary ridership numbers, you'd have to have preliminary alignment, enough information that the FTA could actually look at and say, okay, this is a real project. It would be nice, as it was last year, to have support, level of support from the city, from the stakeholders that could also accompany that grant. The way the process would then work, we'd be submitting for the FY18 grant cycle. And so, you know, you're talking about a project that if it went in before the end of September, Steve, you're talking about a project that would be completed in the
About 2020 timeframe.
And the project, as we talked, the project is replacing the existing tracks. You'd have to move the tracks to the curbside because it'd have to be ADA compliant. Right now, I think as everybody realizes, McKinney probably gets a waiver because of the nature of the cars. So it would be a complete redo up to Knox Henderson of the system. And that's essentially what we do with this.
So to feel comfortable submitting that application, Steve, what would you want from the city, stakeholders, whatever else?
There's a couple of threshold determinations that, presuming that all three of these pieces get stitched together as a project, as a small start, I'm capped out at 300 million, so I can't exceed 300. And I have to have no more than 50% federal funding. So if it's a 300 up to 150 in local funding. So that has to be found immediately so that I can make the application.
Immediately between now and
In
then.
September, yeah. That what we would do is build on the preferred alternative that's with the city staff at this moment on the Main Street alignment. We would build on that in terms of technical information, make sure we understand utilities and all the other things in the corridor. That's going to take a little bit of time. It'll be very similar to the D2 project where we would come back to council or I think you guys are on schedule for August, I think, for full council. At that time, we would try to understand exactly what the limits of the project would be. We would take that, submit it to FTA, and then we would spend roughly the next year, 18 months doing the environmental documentation and preliminary engineering to get it ready for the actual grant application. Next step, which is revise and keep up to date on all of the other things that need to be done. So the city has to help us identify the 50% local match and then work with us on transit-oriented development and economic development policies that would encourage the type of land use pattern that makes streetcar viable. And much of McKinney is already doing that, so you're ahead of the game there. Ridership is not a significant criteria at this point for a small start project, but they're very interested in making sure that the project is able to be initiated and completed within the time frame that we schedule.
I mean, it's just my assumption that ridership would be, I mean, fairly easy to support given modest success.
Just based on modest success, it's why this is a good opportunity to stitch the uptown, downtown, and then Oak Cliff together.
Okay.
Steve, a quick clarification. Did I get a sense that this was sort of a two-step process, and September is more like an intent, and then you follow up with more detail after, right?
Right, because the initial application that would go in would be about the time that a locally preferred alternative is been drafted, but we still have to do PE and the environmental documentation, which I don't think would be overly complex. You've got a lot of, you don't have bugs and bunny issues, but you certainly have a lot of built environment issues relative to driveways and utilities and other things.
The biggest challenge is phasing and maintaining access to all the businesses throughout the corridor.
And just one other additional comment, that email that I passed on to you from FTA, that's something that we would definitely want to take advantage of if it isn't the D2 corridor, certainly for the streetcar project. And to let you know what that is that FTA has identified approximately $20 million for land use planning, specifically for transit-oriented development activities associated with new starts, small starts, and core capacity projects that are already in the pipeline. So D2 is one that we would certainly want to work with the city on as a possible grant for you to help do some land use planning. We could do the same thing with the small starts application.
Can you clarify, sorry, I'm very fast, 50% of whatever the project is.
50%.
So if it's a $200 million project, we'd have to come up with at least $100 million.
Well, how much is Dart bringing to the table?
We don't have any money in our long-range financial plan for the project right now. But that said, we didn't have any money 2 years ago for our long-range plan for D2 either, or 3 years ago.
Maybe if I can clarify or just make sure that I even understand. Well, we do have the 50% on the D2,
Oh, right,
I mean,
right.
not D2, but the Central Streetcar.
The central piece.
Yeah, so we have roughly 40 million for that.
Is it an absolute prohibition on federal funding other than what the FTAs bring, or is COG allowed to chip in?
I can bring local match.
Even if that's considered local match, even though it's federal dollars?
That's what happened for the Tiger project.
Okay.
Have you got your grant already for the extension of the modern streetcar through downtown Dallas coming
No,
over?
we've not submitted that.
You've not submitted that yet?
Right.
What route would that be?
Well, that's what we're waiting on the city to verify.
Also, maybe I'm not understanding right, are we still gonna have the antique trolleys going from up the Arts District uptown to Knox?
Our proposal would be that the historic streetcars would be used evenings, weekends, and special events, but not during the morning, evening, midday.
Why not?
Well, if that's the case, that's a different project, and that means that Bill needs to figure out how to extend it from Knox Henderson at that point.
But we are gonna have the antiques going all the way around Lapierre's Curve for that, right?
Where?
Around where,
The far north end.
yeah, where it goes around Javier's restaurant there, it's called
Javier's.
Javier's Curve, where it touches the Katy Trail.
Right.
The original route of the antique trolleys, that's what we're talking about, right?
I don't know what's been done. If you learn your line.
We does it,
Okay.
That's why we're here, is in the trolleys, the antique ones, make the full circle, you know, from Arts uptown to Knox Henderson to around Javier's Curve, where it touches the Katy Trail and back.
So as I said, why I'm here is to talk about the modern streetcar extension, using the historic streetcars, evenings, weekends, and special events.
Gotcha.
Steve, do you have like a back of your mind number that you think that the different pieces cost, the downtown piece and the extension north?
Ballpark number, about 20 million or so a mile. So the project downtown, because of all the utilities, is roughly about $80 million. And then we have an estimate for between 80 and 100 million for the upgrade of the McKinney Avenue piece that exists today, and that's assuming salvages of as much equipment and material as possible. And then I have roughly, it's about 1.5 miles from where it ends today at that you're talking about, up to Knox Henderson's about 1.5 miles. So it's be another, 20 to 30, 40 million dollars for that piece.
But totally,
Exactly.
you don't think we're going to be bumping up against 300 million?
I think that you will be shy of that, and then my fingers are crossed relative to utilities and anything else that I just don't know enough about yet.
So it's 80 million, how much for the Knox street?
Probably about another 40 million, because it's a 1.5 up and back, so about 3 miles.
So 200 million.
About that time.
Does that assume the streetcar turns onto Knox to go back down, or are you going all the way to Monticello?
It gotta go beyond Knox. You don't want to put anything on Knox Street.
I agree with that, I just want to understand what they're.
For the extra distance, what I've also done is taken it from the Knox Henderson station up to approximately the Cole and Katy Trail, which is about another 1/2 mile or so.
So your 1.5 miles goes all the way
Way
up.
up there.
Yeah, the whole concept is to be able to bar hop from Javier's to a cliff.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. You're on track. This might,
Or just get to work.
Please, Lori.
this might
Before
be out.
you do that, you'll get in your car and drive. Thnks, whether it's a modern streetcar or our historic streetcars, you'll get in your car and drive till flip before you do this.
I was thinking about the construction and the push for the Kinney and Cole to be two-way streets with a turning lane. Well, if we do the trolley down there and we have construction in that right lane all the way there and back, what's going to happen to traffic?
It'll be terrible for a little while.
Yeah, big disruption.
And can we start at one end and go two ways at once with the construction? Instead of just one way doing it, can we get an extra team in there? Since we got the money, might as well put people to work and do it almost like a race.
Transcontinental Railroad.
Exactly. See who gets there first, because, you know, time is at the utmost here.
Those are certainly things that we work out through the process.
How do you, my next question may elicit the same response that you said, but would there be construction up and down the entire route throughout the entire project, or would it be, 1 mile or half mile at a time?
I couldn't tell you that until utilities are relocated out of the way and all the other improvements that need to be made, that will dictate the construction schedule.
Well, it is, as we said earlier, the accessibility to the different businesses along the corridor is going to be a big part of the environmental documents and environmental.
I think with all due respect to the modern streetcar coming and taking over, I think there needs to be a lot of thinking about this in the neighborhood. I think the neighborhood and the city of Dallas need to have a full area on this and really vote on this, whether they want it, this disruption of tearing up Bikini Avenue from one end to the other, almost all the track is unusable. And what that's going to do, it's going to be 2.5 years of construction, and the old track that's in the middle lane is going to have to be ripped up. So all of the street from curb to curb for a lengthy period of time is going to have to be ripped up. And I would just suggest if people still want to keep the historic streetcars, we do a pretty good job. We're on time 97% of the time, putting 3 cars out. Eventually we want to get to 4 cars. And we find a way to connect the dark, connect to us, and we continue doing what we're doing, and we build the extension, however we get the money from, I don't know, if we can't come from dark, but get the money from some other way to just connect to our track that's there right now and do not street.
I firmly agree to have, who am I, but the people also love these old trains. And to tear them up, the track, and replace it. I hate to use the word zen. It's not very zen. You use what's there. Instead of throwing all the money away and putting everything behind, and it's going to affect our economy from downtown all the way up if you tear it up. I think to leave it as it is, what's working. The car's working. They're working just to extend it and then bring in the new ones. But never to take this away. This is Dallas, Texas.
Michael, the problem is that modern streetcar can't access the northern part of the route unless we fix the rail in the existing sections.
What about if you leave these? All ideas are good.
Is it just
What
fixing?
if you leave those tracks and put in the other tracks down too, so you can both use the same lane, 2 different tracks?
It would still have the disruption on the businesses.
But we don't want to eliminate this.
Well, they would still be able to run nights and weekends. Gary, how many cars in other cities, are there trolleys that are, that look historic but are modern streetcar?
There's a couple cities that have historic looking cars. Memphis has them,
Tampa has,
them.
we have a whole 17 historic systems in the United States and Canada. We have a full matrix we're doing. I'm going to have it done in about 7 days for all of us to look at it uptown. How we compare to all of the other historic systems. Some of them are, there's one system that's run by propane. There's another one's got a generator system hooked on the back of the historic looking trucks, all kinds of replacement. Most of them are electric. Most of them are small cars that look like ours. Even the ones that are so-called modern, down in NATO, $1 billion cars, look just like our cars.
So it sounds to me like Gary is saying that if we go with modern street cars down to Knox, that's what DART would help us submit this application for, and we need $80 million to extend it down. You know, understanding that a group of this meeting wants that and has that as a sole
They
objective.
said you need $80 million just to rip up our track and replace it with modern.
That's another 40 to 42.
There's another 40 on top of that, so it's 120 million.
So,
Plus,
How-
the
how
80
does-
million it's gonna take for him to get to the Omni Hotel down either Main Street or Elm Commerce.
but if half the room here is thinking about the Knox extension, and that's $120 million, how do we get $120 million to extend down there without having DART support for modern streetcars?
You'll need 120 million if you stay with the current system that's there right now.
Or 80,
You just need, no, you just need 40.
okay.
If it's built to DART standards, probably it's 40. You probably want to build it to DART standards, but it could be done for less than 40.
So to tear up the antique track downtown would cost how much?
But not downtown.
I mean, uptown, to
80
tear
million.
it,
80 million.
to tear it up?
Yeah.
To tear it up and replace it.
What if you didn't tear it up?
Well, then it's 40 million
Oh.
to extend it.
Okay, we just saved ourselves $40 million.
Say you're 80 million.
80, hey,
But again, yeah, I mean, we have to decide what you're really after. I mean, if you're okay with running historic streetcars like they run today, and just extending the modern streetcar to the southern terminus, and not extending the modern streetcar beyond that point, you're right. Whatever the cost is to go north of Knox Henderson is what it would cost to extend it. You have to buy more vehicles, you don't have enough vehicles to run that.
You do want to be able to another storage facility.
So yeah, that 40 million would be more than 40 million if you have 2 more vehicles and a maintenance facility added to it. If you really want to run modern technology, ADA accessible, and I say air conditioned, I know that the historic cars are air conditioned, but air conditioned in a more modern fashion, you run modern cars. And so again, it's what do you want to do? What are you trying to achieve? And, you know, if we want the best of both worlds, then you move those tracks. It sounds simple when you say it fast. You move the tracks over to the curbside lane.
Not simple.
We all appreciate that. We understand that. But, you know, again, it's what do we want to achieve? What do we want to do? And I agree, Phil, it's going to take a while to get from uptown to downtown to Bishop Arts, but having a single seat ride, I think there's value in doing that. I think there's
But you transfer down, you've got the red line, green line, you transfer at the mall, if you're at South Oak Cliff, or you're going to the airport, or you're at Bridges, you transfer down
Sure.
on DART, on rail to rail, and you transfer the buses, whenever you're taking a bus, you go to either the west or the east.